Season 7, Episode 7 of Game of Thrones, titled The Dragon and the Wolf, is the season finale and brings several major storylines to a head. The episode begins with a tense and highly anticipated meeting at the Dragon Pit in King's Landing. Daenerys Targaryen, Jon Snow, and their allies meet with Cersei Lannister to present proof of the threat posed by the White Walkers. They unveil the captured White to convince her to join their cause. Cersei appears moved by the demonstration and agrees to a truce, on the condition that Jon Snow remains neutral in the war between her and Daenerys. However, Jon refuses to lie, revealing he has already pledged himself to Daenerys. This enrages Cersei, and she storms out, seemingly withdrawing her support. Tyrion later confronts her privately, trying to reason with her. In their tense conversation, Tyrion deduces that Cersei is pregnant, and although she doesn't explicitly promise anything, she later returns to the group, claiming she will send her armies north to aid in the fight against the dead. Meanwhile, in Winterfell, tensions between Arya and Sansa Stark culminate in a shocking twist. For several episodes, it seemed that the sisters were on the verge of turning on each other, manipulated by Littlefinger, Petyr Baelish. However, it's revealed that Sansa and Arya were working together all along. Sansa accuses Littlefinger of treason and murder in front of the Northern Lords, and with Arya's help, executes him. This moment solidifies the unity of the Stark siblings and marks the end of one of the series' longest-running manipulators. Back at Dragonstone, Jon and Daenerys grow closer and ultimately consummate their relationship during their voyage north. At the same time, Samwell Tarly and Bran Stark piece together Jon's true heritage. Bran uses his green sight to confirm that Jon is not the illegitimate son of Ned Stark, but rather Aegon Targaryen, the legitimate son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark, making him the true heir to the Iron Throne. This revelation carries deep implications, especially as Jon and Daenerys remain unaware of their familial connection. The episode ends with a dramatic and ominous scene at the Wall. The Night King arrives riding the reanimated dragon Viserion and uses its blue flame to destroy a section of the Wall at Eastwatch. As the Wall collapses, the army of the dead begins to march south into the Seven Kingdoms. This final moment marks the beginning of the Great War and sets the stage for the climactic events of the final season. Season 8, Episode 1 of Game of Thrones, titled Winterfell, serves as the beginning of the end, bringing characters together at Winterfell as the threat of the White Walkers looms. The episode mirrors the very first episode of the series, with Daenerys Targaryen and Jon Snow arriving in Winterfell with their combined forces, including the Unsullied, Dothraki, and 2 dragons. The Northerners are wary of Daenerys and uncomfortable with Jon bending the knee to her. Arya watches the procession silently, her reunion with Jon a heartfelt highlight of the episode. Inside Winterfell, tensions rise quickly. Sansa is skeptical of Daenerys and questions her motivations, particularly regarding her influence over Jon. The Northern Lords also challenge Jon's decision to abandon his title as king in the north. Meanwhile, Tyrion attempts to reassure everyone that Cersei will send her forces to help fight the undead, though this is met with doubt. Daenerys meets Samwell Tarly and accidentally reveals that she executed his father and brother for refusing to bend the knee, creating an awkward and emotional moment. The most significant reveal of the episode comes from Sam and Bran, who decide it's time Jon learns the truth about his heritage. Sam tells Jon that he is not the illegitimate son of Ned Stark, but rather Aegon Targaryen, the legitimate son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. This revelation makes Jon the rightful heir to the Iron Throne. Jon is clearly shaken, not just by the truth of his lineage, but by what it means for his relationship with Daenerys, whom he now knows is his aunt. Elsewhere, we see a glimpse of Tormund and Beric Dondarrion, who survive the Wall's collapse and arrive at Last Hearth. They find a chilling message left by the Night King, young Lord Ned Umber, pinned to the wall in a spiral of severed limbs, a callback to White Walker symbols from earlier seasons. The scene ends in horror as the boy reanimates, confirming that the Night King and his army are on the move and very close to Winterfell. The episode ends with a quiet but powerful moment. Jaime Lannister arrives at Winterfell, and upon entering the courtyard, he locks eyes with Bran Stark, now the three-eyed raven. It's the first time they've seen each other since Jaime pushed Bran out of a tower window in Season 1. That silent stare sets up long-awaited confrontations and resolutions as the final season begins to bring every thread of the story to its conclusion.